Hey guys, Thomas here from lowbackpaincenter.com. In a previous video, we discussed forearm dysfunction with respect to golfer's elbow. So the postural dysfunction associated with golfer's elbow is excessive wrist flexion and ulnar deviation. And the result is the flexors of the fingers and wrist become short and overactive, and we end up with trigger points and pain in this area here. And that's a problem for some golfers. But if we're talking about the general population, by far the most common forearm dysfunction is excessive pronation, extension, and ulnar deviation. And this is the typing position. And this is why it's such a common problem. So with this dysfunction, the muscles on the back of our arm, the finger and wrist extensors become very overactive, and we get a ton of trigger points in this area here. And whenever we have an injury or pain, the first thing that we do is inhibit and lengthen the muscles that have become short and overactive. And that's where this flex bar, TheraBand flex bar is going to come in handy. Christine's going to put that against the wall, and she's going to survey the entire back of her arm, and those are the finger and forearm extensors, searching for the most tender spot, and she's leaning right into it. That way she doesn't have to hold her arm up. And once she finds that spot, she just stays there for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. The pressure applied by the bar initiates a reflex inside the muscles, encouraging those muscles to relax. So again, we'd hold this for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Hey guys, Thomas here from lowbackpaincenter.com. In a previous video, we discussed how forearm dysfunction is usually associated with excessive pronation, extension, and ulnar deviation. And we gave you a release technique to get after those short and overactive finger and wrist extensors on the back of your arm. In this video, we're going to show you how to activate the long and underactive finger and wrist flexors. We're going to use a TheraBand flex bar. Again, these bars are definitely the best for all of these techniques. Now, this is a very easy exercise, but it's also very easy to mess up. So do pay attention to the details here. Okay, so Christine's going to grab that. The bottom hand is the hand or the forearm that we're activating. The other hand is going to go on top there just to apply a little resistance. Now, I can get Christine just to flex her wrist, and that will strengthen her wrist flexors, but you can see that she's actually, and this is what most people will do, they actually strengthen it into ulnar deviation, which is the compensation we're trying to get you out of. So we need a way to strengthen the wrist, the flexors of the wrist, without going into ulnar deviation. And that's why this hand is on the bottom. So what Christine's going to focus on doing is as she flexes her wrist, keeping this bony point here, the styloid process of her ulna, against the table. And that makes it impossible to go into ulnar deviation because she's keeping that bony process down. Okay, and this is actually quite challenging. It's hard to get very much range of motion there while keeping that neutral alignment. And so what we can do to make it a little more easy on ourselves in regards to range of motion is we can start in some extension here, right? And then from there, she's going to flex her wrist, keeping the styloid process against the table. Yeah, keep going, as far as she can take it. And then she's going to take 4 seconds to return to the starting position. And that's the eccentric phase. Okay, so she's going to 1 second to concentric, hold it for 2 seconds, and then back for 4. Okay, and do that again. Yep, 1 second, hold for 2, back for 4. And again, guys, with all of our activation techniques, we do 1 to 2 sets of 12 to 15 reps. Again, the tempo, 4, 2, 1, 1 second concentric, 2 second hold, 4 seconds back. If you have any questions, send me an email, thomas@lowbackpaincenter.com. Hey guys, Thomas here from lowbackpaincenter.com. In previous videos, we've been discussing how forearm dysfunction is usually associated with excessive pronation, extension, and ulnar deviation. We've given you a release technique for the short and overactive finger and wrist extensors on the back of your arm, as well as an activation technique for the long and underactive finger and wrist flexors in this area. In this video, we're going to give you an activation technique for flexor carpi radialis, which is going to pull you out of that ulnar deviation, okay? But here's the deal. Flexor carpi radialis is not the only muscle that will pull you out of ulnar deviation. Extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis also will pull you out of ulnar deviation. However, those two muscles are the overactive synergists. They're already all jacked up because the forearm extensors are overactive. So we need a way to activate flexor carpi radialis while inhibiting extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis. And again, we're going to use the flex bar for this. Christine's going to grab the flex bar. She's doing this exercise for her right arm, so she's grabbing at the top. She's going to take her other hand and pull that bar against her forearm. Now that pulls her into ulnar deviation. Now if she simply pulls up or adducts her wrist, that will strengthen flexor carpi radialis. However, it will also strengthen or activate extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis, which we do not want. So how do we reciprocally inhibit extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis? Well, their name implies that they're extensors, right? So if we put our wrist into a little bit of flexion, that will then inhibit the extensors. And then from there, she adducts. Now we're activating flexor carpi radialis while reciprocally inhibiting extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis. So with all of our activation techniques, we come up for 1 second, hold at the top for 2, down for 4, okay? And we do 12 to 15 reps. If you have any questions, guys, regarding this injury or any other, send me an email, thomas@lowbackpaincenter.com.